You an example of a situation where you've got to use your common sense. So I'm going to read to you for a second. Follow me. This is from the World Boxing Council, the WBC, the Green Belt. This is from their official Twitter page. Pacquiao offered $80 million, Floyd Mayweather Jr. $100 million for fight. And then there's an article. The World Boxing Council is more credible than Steven Espinoza. The World Boxing Council is the green belt, the most prestigious belt in boxing to date, in boxing period. So I ask myself, why would they allow something like that on their page if it's not true? Then put the hashtag green belt as far as WBC, as far as a signature, like, yes, this is official. It's been up there for about 9 hours now, so it hasn't been taken down. It's still right up there for you to see. I'm trying to get you to understand the significance of basically what's been going on and what we've learned or have not learned thus far leading up to this point. So a couple of weeks ago, Steven Espinoza, an executive for Showtime Sports, released a tweet saying that Manny Pacquiao and Bob Arum were offered $40 million with a 35% upside. You have to understand that Steven Espinoza is not a promoter. And I remember I did videos not too long ago, about 6 months or so ago, and I was saying, and I'm going to share the video. How long before those Showtime executives, or how long before now we've learned the CBS executives say, okay, listen, you're the highest paid athlete in the world. We got you under contract. We haven't been making the money we want, so technically you owe us like $1 million. What if that's their approach to Mayweather? Mayweather can't go to them and say, he don't do the pay-per-view numbers that I do. He needs to take what I'm saying is this. I'm just trying to break it down to the bare bones and the bare minimum. It is out of Floyd Mayweather's hands at this point in time. He is in a situation that I think he's afraid of, as far as he's waited too long in his career to fight this man. To the point where now he's in this Showtime contract with 2 fights, and you've got to be an idiot to not think that they were just going to let him coast through this 6 fights and not try to make Pacquiao, and not try to understand that these people care about the numbers. They care about the numbers. That's their job, to maximize profits. So if you got a guy out there that's still winning, that still can generate all that money on Facebook, on my Facebook, links right below. They're talking about, and it's a thread with about 40 something comments right now from 27 minutes ago. And they're talking about the pay-per-view can do 3 million in buys. Imagine if the pay-per-view was $100. I did the math. If the pay-per-view was $99.99 and it did 2.7 million pay-per-view buys, that's reasonable, right? It's almost $270 million. So, and that's not including the ticket sales and whatever other, money that's coming in. So, is it true? How credible do you take the WBC? All those green belts that Floyd Mayweather has? Why would they allow that tweet to stay up if it wasn't true, or if they didn't know for sure, this is exactly what's going on? People have been blaming Bob Arum a long time for some stuff, but I gotta be honest. Right now, once again, this is where you have to use your common sense and put your bias aside and realize that Bob Arum has very strong political and network connections outside of HBO. He went to the head, not the head of Showtime, not Steven Espinoza. He went all the way to the top. All the way to the top. I'm not even going to say his name because you should know it already if you're so damn smart. And talk to the guy all the way at the top of CBS, the parent company. CBS owns Showtime. Just like ABC, and just like Disney owns ABC and anything under Disney, they call it parent companies. So he went all the way to the top of CBS and said, look, let's make this fight. It's too much money for just to pass aside, pass along. So You didn't hear nothing about Al Heyman, going to this person and that person trying to make the fight. You had Richard Schaefer, a right-hand man of Al Heyman, saying, we have no interest in working with Bob Arum on anything basically ever. So what I'm saying is that I'm not just the only one saying it. It's just that people get mad when I said, people of color, because I'm a man of color, and it seems as though I'm taking up for the Jewish man. But no, that's not the point. That's not exactly what it is. I'm a realist, and I got to look at what I see. Floyd Mayweather, the most powerful athlete, or should be the most powerful athlete in the world. Why would you not want to pursue this man? Or how could you allow people, a large amount of people, to say, you're afraid of him, or, you're scared of him, or whatever the case may be. So he's in a situation right now where, 1 in 4 in pay-per-views, over 1 million buys. I'll point out an interesting statistic to you. Guess how many pay-per-views that Mike Tyson has over 1 million? 6. Guess how many Manny Pacquiao has over 1 million buys? 6. Guess how many Floyd Money Mayweather has over 1 million buys? 6. Now, of course, Mayweather has the 2 highest grossing pay-per-views in the history of boxing due to inflation. But if you look at the numbers are not what they should be for him not to fight Pacquiao anymore. Now, we know, of course it's going to be brought up, Pacquiao was cherry picking Chris Algieri, Pacquiao was fighting over Macau, he's broke, But what does that have to do with him not fighting Pacquiao? So just because he fight Chris Algieri, let me get this straight. Just because he fights Chris Algieri, you would say he doesn't deserve to fight Floyd. I don't want to see that fight. Floyd, don't fight him. Is that your logic? Is that your logic? All right, what is the reason why you don't want to see the fight? Or what is the reason why many of you don't want to believe that Team Pacquiao is legitimately really trying to make the fight right now? And why, throughout this whole situation, that it's one side against the other? I used to be playing along in that crap, then I got out of it. It's Bob Arum's fault. It's Floyd Mayweather's fault. He's ducking, and our goal should be to make sure the fight happens. I'm on board of making sure the fight happens. ESPN, Dan Rayfield. Now the WBC. Who else? New York Times, I've seen an article. USA Today. It's all over. It's all over the place. It's like, okay, now it's time. You got all the legends in boxing. Muhammad Ali. You got Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, all saying, Roberto Duran, all saying, okay, Floyd, it's time now. We know you the one that can really make it happen. But yet, to that pocket of people who are not in the know, or who act like they are in the know, they say, Pacquiao should have took the 40 million when he had the chance. They're saying that now, just like they were saying it then. Should have took the 40 million when he had the chance. Floyd offered that to him. Or, Pacquiao, why he should have took the drug test. He's on steroids, And I think there's so many holes in your logic, and it's crazy because I was going to say something real controversial, but I'm not going to go there. It's so racially motivated. Floyd Mayweather, and this is being honest. Floyd Mayweather is a scumbag. He's a very ignorant, arrogant man. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about anyone. And that's what, outside of him and his family, that's what he's shown us. Whether he's like that, I ask myself the question, okay, well, then why don't he have no friends? Who does he know that's been around outside of his boxing career? Why is it all this stuff, this kiddie stuff in the media? as far as messing with another man's wife and joking around about if you had sex with her or not. You know, it's stuff like that. And I think, okay, just like Steven Espinoza of Showtime, we saw some things that have not been truthful from Floyd Mayweather and from him. How many times has Floyd Mayweather not told you the truth? Think about it. Think about it. How many times has Floyd Mayweather said the exact same thing over and over and over? It comes with the territory. You know, his whole spiel. You know, well, you know, he's a young, hungry lion. I'm just not the type of person, and many of you probably aren't either, that can just go to sleep at night and people just saying you can't beat him, you know, like, or the fact that, like, why won't you fight him? You're ducking him, you know, you're scared. Well, you want to get rid of that? Like, how long? Like, if as soon as Pacquiao beat Timothy Bradley, I would be like, okay, you know what? I want him now. You know, like, let me get him out of the way. Let me fuck him up real quick, since people think, you know, like, wouldn't you want to say, like, wouldn't you want to prove and say, listen, I told you I was going to beat him up, and now I beat him up. Look. But instead, you know, you keep playing his numbers game. You know, you say he's got Pacquiao, you know, you say he's got Marquez problems. Marquez didn't want no more of him. Marquez said, no, I'm not fighting him no fifth time. You can understand to a certain extent, but at the same time, my view of it is like, well, damn, he gave you all those rematches. He gave you rematches when he didn't have to. So I can understand Marquez and Nacho. They want to, you know, like, close that. They want to defeat. They want it to be as if that chapter's closed, as if it's done. You know, I can understand that, but Marquez didn't want no parts. He went after Timothy Bradley, number 2 pound for pound in the world, in my opinion, at that point in time. Defeated him cleanly. So there was no more Marquez problems, as Floyd Mayweather would say. Why? Because Marquez doesn't want to fight him, period. There's no more Bradley problems. You know what he's going to say? He's probably going to say, well, you know, he still got basketball problems. He got to score 30 points a game. Some old shit like that, you know? So right now, as I said, not only have the corporate executives, HBO guys, you're not hearing that much about them, but also Showtime, and Bob Arum is basically the voice of HBO right now. You got Oscar De La Hoya in the middle of it. There's a lot of different people. Like, there's so much money involved that the situation is too complex for me to sit up here and just talk about it in just one video. You know, I once did an 8-hour video before. Yes, I did an 8-hour street show. You know, broke the Guinness World Records, I think, of a continuous boxing news stream. Maybe I'll go like 34 hours or something. So I'm just joking. But, yeah, I'm a little tired. But I just don't see how fans are so resistant when there's so much writing on the wall. And it's not just one side talking about it. Everyone's talking about it. You got Manny being as vocal as he's ever been. That commercial with Foot Locker is comedy gold. So, listen. The last person that has to sign off on this is Floyd Mayweather. From what I know, Pacquiao's side is already done. Okay, we'll accept it. It's done. It's done. You can say whatever you want about, you know, like, oh, you know, Bob Arum's going to mess it up. No, listen, you don't know. You don't know. One final, well, actually, it's most likely 2. Or you can boil it down to 1. It's all about, as Freddie Roach said, it's all about if Al Heyman is ready to give Floyd up. That's a quote. So, Floyd may in his heart want to fight him, but then, you know, you got Al Heyman telling, like, well, listen, you know, do we really want to risk that loss to this guy? You know, let's try to, you know. But with what Al Heyman wants to do, as far as what we hear of getting his own boxing network and then working with NBC as far as getting, as far as taking his boxers off of cable, I feel that even his back is against the ropes as far as networks are like, all right, listen. You know, like, listen, make this fight. Because NBC is probably like, you know, well, if you come over here on NBC Sports, of course we want you to make Mayweather versus Pacquiao. You know, this is not a situation, you know, that if Mayweather Promotions was if Floyd Mayweather was to go fight back for let me say something. Let me say, if he signed an exclusive deal with ESPN, Floyd Mayweather, of course, their number one goal would be to make Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Do you not think that in the negotiation table, before Mayweather signed that exclusive deal with Showtime, do you not think that they already was having discussions about, well, listen, you know, on the end, we want to make sure we're able to get Mayweather versus Pacquiao done. You know, you don't think that came up? You thought they were just going to let Floyd just come in and fight who he wanted, you know, and just collect his money and just bounce? That's not how the world works. Fighters have a shelf life. They only fight for so long. It was only but a matter of time before Floyd Mayweather had to fight Manny Pacquiao, but you don't see it. Hey, understand. I want to say I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live, and I cover boxing. My next video is going to be basically on what's next for Karceno Arum, because I know I didn't talk about him yet. So that's going to be my next video. Please subscribe. Real Combat Media, TstreeT Controversy, TstreeT Controversy Live.